you for joining us again, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching Nile Oracle. And it's time now to introduce to you our dear distinguished guest with us here in the studio. She is Dr. Doha Abdel Hamid. She's an international economic policies expert. And Dr. Doha teaches at the American University here in Cairo, and she's also the Evaluation Advisory Panel Chair of the International Fund for Agricultural Development based in Rome. Dr. Doha, great to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you.
Pleasure and honor to host you here on Nile Oracle. Thank you, Dr. Doha, very much. So we are talking about the economic dimension of Egypt's foreign policy and how relations between Egypt and its partners here in the Arab world, in Africa, in Europe, and across the globe, east, west, north, and south, how the economic cooperation and investment exchange is part of Egypt's foreign policy and is a tool for Egypt's foreign policy itself. Of course, Egypt's foreign policy, which is based on balance and on respect for international law, United Nations Human Charter, and finding peaceful solutions and diplomatic settlements to all crises, and trying to de-escalate instead of going to all-out confrontation. So how do you see the economic dimension of Egypt's foreign policy?
Probably I will be talking about economic diplomacy then.
Yes.
So it's going to be something like a mix. Obviously, Egypt is very well respected in all international organizations, and it's having its own place and its own negotiators, and it's making a presence all over the world. Regionally as well, having the League of Arab States on Egyptian soils, this is something which gives us political weight. We've been leading discussions and negotiations throughout, even with the de-escalation situation, the warfare that we're having in the region. Everything is just burning, and the map, when you look at it, it's well, it's unfortunate, but I think that Egypt is playing a very important role in if I may say, it's a hybrid warfare over the entire region, and Egypt is facing some fragilities and vulnerabilities, same as any other countries in the region. But its wisdom and its leadership is navigating the road and trying to pacify and to advise and to de-escalate the blowing situation that we are facing, which is influencing the economic side, of course. When we look at equity, when we look at employment rates, when we look at inflation rates, food prices, energy prices, I think that the Iran war has pushed the limits for the Arab region and for Africa and for Europe and for the entire world to think deeply into regional integration ideas, and to mobilize the papers and the cards that are in the hands of the region to integrate and to save itself.
Yes, Dr. Doha. So how do you think the standoff will end? The American-Iranian standoff at the moment. It seems that we are in a stalemate. It seems both sides are content, or are at least telling us that they are content with the situation as is. The U.S. administration of Mr. Trump says that the blockade is working. Iran is bleeding, losing billions of dollars every day, and that they are not being, allegedly, the regime is not able to pay for the salaries of even army or police and so on. On the other hand, the Iranians seemingly are betting that because of what looks like strategic defeat for the Americans, at least so far, that Mr. Trump will see his party losing the congressional elections, losing both houses, and then he will be crippled and so on. So And between these two bets, as you mentioned, the world is suffering. High oil prices, fertilizers are not moving in quantity, so this is affecting food prices everywhere. As always, Africa is like the one that pays the price more than anybody else. So how do you think this will end? And for how long can the world sustain this?
Well, I don't want to be pessimistic, really, because we should be optimistic. And we should ask ourselves why this war is erupting in our region. Isn't it the richest? Isn't it with the most of the resources, human and minerals and water and lands and climate, and at the heart of trade routes and everything? This is the main reason, this is the main fight which is going on. This is the reason for the war that is going on. The Arab world is getting weaker as the time goes by because of the competition that has been going. And I think with this confrontation, a stand, a pause, and a rethink. Iran is saying we are winners. On the other hand, the US is saying the same. This is typically, it's a standard definition of hybrid warfare. The region is used as a playground for trying armaments, for defeating economies and collapsing them, defeating structures of the states, collapsing the armies, and weakening, and then someone would come at the end of the war and collect everything. We are in Egypt. We are facing the same since 2011. We're not far away from the thing, but although we're not facing direct confrontation, same as Iran and Israel and the US and even the Gulf states now, they are just dragged into the story, which is affecting their economies and affecting our economy. How will this end? It will end by a sober decision. Wise leaders who sit together.
Sober decisions need sober people. Where are these people?
I don't want to lose hope. At least we have, of course, our leader, President Sisi. He is leading. He's the master of wisdom. He called for the peace in Gaza, and he called for President Trump, and he called for the whole world to come over. I think with the situation escalating as such, I think many nations, especially in the Gulf states, they are recognizing that there is a need for some kind of pacification. Even Ukraine, even the whole world is just, the map is just boiling and is in flame. At a point in time, it's one of two choices. Either collapse or grow out of the situation. Collapse will lead to spiraling collapse. Okay, it's a domino effect. But I'm hoping, again, I'm hoping that the region, especially our region, which is my main concern here, and this is the reason why I came here to talk to you and to our viewers, is that the leadership, they need to listen to the people. They are suffering, actually. And the resources that we have in our region are abundant. So the issue is to stop the fragility and the rentier activities, like, for example, tourism is volatile sector, energy is volatile sector, Suez Canal, the routes and so on is very volatile resources that come to us. The only way to grow out of this is to not to be dependent. So how to do that? Agriculture. We need to build our sufficiency from agriculture, feed ourselves, okay? So we don't count on importation a lot. Manufacture what we need, and as well, build our tourism, build the infrastructure quite well so it is not that volatile, and do the appropriate
tourism
packaging.
For its part, Dr. Doha, I'm sorry for the interruption, but has been doing okay relatively, and I guess this speaks of like Egypt's being this very safe country, very stable country, very secure country. In fact, people are, you know, flocking from hotspots and coming to Egypt. So I guess in tourism, it's okay. It could be much better, of course.
That's the issue.
But yeah.
It is good, but it can be much better.
Sure.
It has a multiplier effect, and it employs.
Yeah, sky's the limit when it comes to tourism.
And it employs indirect jobs and direct jobs as well. We can have the infrastructure, even if we can have the little brochures where the tourists can go and collect and know that throughout the year we have those tours in such and such place, and assembly point is so and so, and the price is fixed. And the quality is guaranteed. It's all over the place. They're just very fine, teeny-weeny things, but they make the experience, which is the thing that we need to make sure about. Speaking of Egypt itself.
Can anybody exactly calculate the losses incurred by the Iran war? Losses to Iran, losses to the Gulf, losses to Europe, losses to Asia, losses to the Americas, and are there any winners? And if there are winners, who are the winners?
No
I'm sure
winners.
you've looked into that.
No winners. No winners. With war, there is no winner.
Maybe the
whatsoever.
Russians, the big oil companies, the weapons manufacturers.
Well, it's still a loss.
Yeah.
Maybe, but
Okay.
it's a gain on destruction. Okay, it's not a virtuous cycle that will maintain.
The peoples of the world have lost.
The people have lost, of course. This is for sure. The inflation, the currency depreciation, debt.
As far as you know, Dr. Doha, and this is your field, has there been any area of the world or region that has been spared from inflation, let's say?
No.
After the war, after the Iran war?
The war is still ongoing, so even the measures, I mean, there are some UNDP estimates, there are some IMF and World Bank estimates and so on, but in all of them, in all of the regions, there is always a loss in the GDP growth rates on a regional scale and on national scale as well.
For how long can the world sustain this?
That depends on the resilience. If we start on de-escalating as a temporary measure, by the way, shouldn't be, it's just soft power, not to catch a breath, only to catch a breath and to start diving again into work. Okay, we have to build, in our situation, in our region, for example, we need to build the manufacturing base quite well, because this means value added, as well to make use of the employment. We have a youth bulge in the region and in Egypt, and the unemployment rate is 40%.
How much?
40%.
40?
40 for youth.
For youth.
For youth who represent.
That's a huge number.
Absolutely.
Is this official? Or is this
IMF,
like independent?
This is IMF estimates. Okay.
40.
And
Wow.
60% of the population are youth. And with women, we employ only 19 to 22% of women. So
That's a
we
very
have
low
idle.
number.
Yes, we have idle resources. As well, we have to think about developing natural resource management strategies for future generations.
Right.
Because otherwise we will deplete all the resources that we're having at the moment if we start building the foundations for a good manufacturing base. We have to think futuristic. We are in the Oracle, so foresight has to be there.
Right. So you're talking about localizing even the components of the industry.
Import substitution, of course, and as well thinking of our region from a strategic location, the strategic location from a strategic point of view. We are at the heart of the world, whether Egypt or the Arab region itself. And we have plenty of regional integration pacts that are just on paper, ink on paper. So if we managed to activate those pacts, like for example the AFCFTA, the African Free Trade Agreement, the GAFTA, the General Agreement for Free Trade for the Arab countries. If we manage to move across this T quite wisely, I think we are the gateway. Egypt is the gateway. As well, if we manage to expand this with our good relations with the Mediterranean and with Europe, those are the traditional continents and the traditional partners who can have a competitive edge and benefit each other. It's a win-win situation. As well, we have the Silk Road. So where are we? Where are we? We need to move the BRICS as well. We need to have our strategies. We have to measure the costs and benefits and announce a strategy to the world on each and every regional integration agreement that we have, in order that our partners know what we have and we as well know what they have.
Yeah, speaking of those agreements, and this is the final question before we watch a report, and then continue with you, Dr. Doha. Speaking of those trade agreements, like within the Arab world or within Africa, when we look at inner trade, say in the EU, you will see numbers like 70%, 75%. But when you look at it within Africa, say, you will see numbers in the low tens, like 10, 15%. I don't know about the number regarding inner Arab trade.
14%.
14. So obviously these agreements, as you said, are mostly on paper. Or is the problem that because we don't have the manufacturing base that you talked about, there is a ceiling actually of inner trade because most of our needs, we don't have it here. We have to import it from outside of the region. You're the expert. You tell us. I mean, what's the maximum ceiling, in other words, for inner trade, say between Arab countries or between African countries?
I think if we build the manufacturing base... Before we do, there are still untapped potential. I mean, of course...
Like the 10 and 14% can go to how much?
At least 40.
Okay.
At least.
Okay. So we have, in your view, at least 40% of what we need within our region. And we can complete each other and integrate with each other.
Absolutely. And that would save us from any threat and would give us our political strength together will be heightened as much as our economic strength is there. But to think I finished an evaluation study on regional integration of North African countries with the African Development Bank, and it was an important study, and we came out with it's totally based on evidence. Each country in the North Africa region is competing against each other to export to Europe. Whereas the countries we have the COMESA, we have the Arab Maghreb Union, and we have the GAFTA, and but still we are not amplifying our potential, and at least on the agricultural sector, at the very least.
Well, so Dr. Doha, you're telling us that we can at least triple the inner trade that we have now. Thank you, Dr. Doha. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. We'll watch a report here on our main topic and then continue our discussion with our dear distinguished guest, who is the Evaluation Advisory Panel Chair at the International Fund for Agricultural Development based in Rome, and an AUC professor along with other titles that she preferred not to use. Dr. Doha, please stay with us. Ladies and gentlemen.